Number 10. Mama drama. One thing that comes up a lot in Britney Spears' memoir is her relationship to her parents. She discusses the strain that was placed especially on the bond between herself and her mom, Lynn Spears. She dived deep into her childhood and what actually went down. In the book, she said that she started drinking no-no juice with her mother when she was just in the 8th grade. Of course, that's awful and no one should ever do that because Britney wouldn't just have a sip of it, no, she would just drink no-no juice all day like it was her job. She explained that for fun, she started having fruity no-no juice with her mom while they were in Biloxi, Mississippi. Say that 10 times fast and I will give you $100. To make things feel less illegal, they would call the drinks toddies, named after the adult beverage that's basically just no-no tea. Britney felt a special bond with her mother because of this, especially considering the contrast between her mom and her dad when he would drink. When her mother had a few, she was bubbly and had, the same bright personality, and that's what Britney had as well. But when Jamie had a few, he would get angry and depressed. That behavior is terrible, and while bonding with your parents is awesome, not the right way to do it. Number 9. Jamie Lynn Spears. In her memoir, Britney says that she's working very hard to have more compassion towards her sister, Zoe 101 herself, Jamie Lynn Spears. In the book, Britney revealed a ton of information on Jamie, including the fact that for the entirety of her conservatorship, Jamie would just tell her to move on and stop fighting for control. Britney writes that her younger sister ruled the roost at their home in Kentwood growing up, leaving Britney feeling like a ghost to her parents. She writes that she would walk into the family room and that no one would look at her. Her sister was always too glued to the TV and, according to Britney, would constantly berate their mother, calling her every name in the book. According to Britney, Jamie did nothing to help her during her time under the conservatorship. When she was placed into a mental health facility in 2018, she asked Jamie for support. She replied by telling Britney to just give in and stop resisting. At the time, Britney was under immense mental stress and wrote that she was scared that someone was maybe trying to hurt her in the facility. Her relationship with her sister Jamie has been strained for a long time, with Jamie lying to her several times, including one incident where Jamie claimed that a Zoe 101 co-star was being mean to her on set. Britney confronted the star, Alexa Nichols, by yelling in her face, and she had no idea what was happening or why because it turned out that she was being lied to from the very beginning. Good sibling right there. Number 8. Justin Timberlake. Now, one of the most discussed sections of the memoir is of course the revelation of what actually happened when Britney and her Mickey Mouse Club co-star Justin got together. After meeting JT in the clubhouse, the two sparked a romantic connection. The connection was so strong, but unfortunately Britney had to make a very tough decision in 2000 after she found out she was pregnant. At first, Britney was actually pretty excited about this. In her book, she actually revealed that she had planned on starting a family with Justin at some point, but I guess that it was just gonna happen a little bit earlier than it expected. Well, it turned out that Justin didn't want anything to do with this. He was not excited at all, and he just told her that they were both too young to be starting a family, reminding her that their careers would also have to be put on pause. Ultimately, she decided not to have the baby, something that she claims to be the most devastating decision of her life. Now, part of the memoir revealed this about Britney and Justin, but another part revealed what exactly this man did to break up with Britney. The breakup happened while Britney was on set for the overprotected Dark Child remix music video in LA. But towards the end of the second day of filming, the director Chris Applebaum told Page Six that Spears suddenly went missing for almost an hour. The director found Britney in her trailer on the floor with her legs crossed, bawling her eyes out while her makeup just slowly fell down her face. She said nothing but showed him the text that she got from Justin that just said, "It's over." Following the breakup, Justin wrote and released the song Cry Me a River based on his experience with Britney, claiming that she had cheated on him while they were together, something that she actually confirmed in her book that did happen with a choreographer named Wade Robson. Number 7. Jamie Spears. Britney's father Jamie has had a complex relationship with his daughter for the most of her life, and that is putting it lightly. In her memoir, she shared the harsh judgment she constantly got from her father, explaining that she thought getting criticized for her body in the press was bad. It hurt even more when it was coming from her own father. He repeatedly told her that she looked heavy and that she really needed to do something about it. She explained that even as a small child, he never gave her the love or attention that she needed. She said that feeling like you are never good enough is a soul-crushing state for a young child. He drummed that message into her growing up, and even after she accomplished so much, he continued to make her feel like dirt. Jamie's wild opinions about Britney got so much worse when she was under her conservatorship. Under the conservatorship, Jamie was named as one of the several people in her life that could make important decisions for her mind, body, and soul. She was forced to grow her recently shaved hair back out and go back into shape. For 13 years, that man remained in control of her life right up until the suspension in 2021. Number 6. Yeet the parents. Following the end of her conservatorship, Britney was able to make decisions for herself again, taking full control over her mind, her body, and her soul. And one of the first decisions that she made was to drop her family from her life entirely. The moment of realization came when she went to visit her parents in 2021. According to Britney, they had stopped answering their phones, so she decided to drive out and see what was up. During the visit, she learned that her beloved Madame Alexander doll collection that she got when she was growing up was thrown away by her family. She also came to find that multiple years of writing had been trashed, including binders full of poems that could have occupied their own book. She decided if they were ready to throw her away, then she was going to do the same thing to them. Number 5. Christina Aguilera. Despite Christina Aguilera's publicly advocating for Britney and her ex Justin to get back together, behind closed doors she felt the exact opposite. Britney and Christina grew close after meeting on set of the Mickey Mouse Club. As time went on, they became close, and Christina was well aware of the pain caused by Justin during and after the relationship. Despite seeing the pain firsthand, she decided to team up with Justin for the Justified and Stripped tour in 2003, only 1 year after the split. They were together on the cover of Rolling Stones in a manner that made the room steamy when you read it. Britney revealed that she was mad at Christina for a very long time, admitting that she was jealous that Christina was free to party and see people while she was forced to sit back and watch. In the early 2000s, the two had a semi-public rivalry. Christina would regularly bash Britney and make claims like she was a lost little puppy backstage at the 2003 Video Music Awards. Number 4. Conservatorship. As many people know, Britney was placed under a psychiatric hold in 2008 following what we will call a difficult evening, and was later placed under a conservatorship by her father. In her book, she explained what she had been going through at the time, saying that shaving her head and acting out were ways of pushing back. Under the conservatorship, she was made to understand that those days were now over. She had to grow her hair back, get back into shape, she went to bed early, and took whatever medication she was told to. Britney revealed that she felt like an infant under the conservatorship and lost her passion for music. She explained that she started to feel more like a thing on stage rather than a person. In her book, she said that she had always felt music was in her bones, but her family stole it from her. She reminded readers of the contrast between male and female artists, telling them to think of all the male artists who gambled their money away, who had substance control issues or mental health issues, anything like that, but many of them have never had control of their bodies or money taken away. Before the book was released, people were just under the impression that the conservatorship was more of a financial and mental kind of thing, but as the book revealed, it is a lot darker than that, and we'll probably learn a lot more once it's actually released out into the public. Number 3. Why she shaved her head. In 2007, many people believed that Britney had just kind of snapped. Her rage was nothing more than celebrity-induced psychosis, right? No, but in her memoir, Britney revealed what exactly prompted the public meltdown. She was in the midst of a painful divorce with Kevin Federline, and she was constantly bombarded by paparazzi. She wrote that she had been eyeballed up and down for her entire life, with people telling her what they thought of her physical features constantly. Shaving her head was an act of defiance. It was a way of pushing back. The shaving took place only a day after she was released from a rehab facility in Antigua, which, just didn't help the case that she was trying to make. A year later, the conservatorship was put into place. As part of the new rule, she was forced to grow her hair back out and was made to take the medications to help speed up the process. Number 2. Robot. When speaking about her conservatorship, Britney described how the 13-year ordeal made her feel like she was her father's little robot at his beck and call. She outed her father as being a terrible human being, but we've already talked about that. He stole a lot of money and stuff from her and threw out her dolls. He's great. Britney said that feeling like she wasn't enough was a message that her father made sure to drum into her skull growing up, writing that she became a sort of robot, becoming so infantilized that she was losing pieces of what made her herself. Although her body and finances were being controlled by her father, she was deemed well enough to work in what the former estate conservator called a hybrid business model. She writes that the estate controlled who her friends were, where she could go, and logged her every purchase down to drinks from Buc-ee's. She also said in court that she had been forced to take baby control pills and medication against her will. And at number 1, being a mom. Britney was placed into a conservatorship after having kids with her ex-hubby Kevin Federline. In her memoir, she revealed that one of the main reasons she went along with the terms of her conservatorship was so that she could see her kids, Sean and Jaden. According to Britney, she did everything in her power to get out of this conservatorship or work around the rules somehow, but unfortunately she was unsuccessful. Kevin was given sole custody of the younglings in 2008 after Britney was hospitalized when she locked herself in a bathroom with her sons and refused to give them back to their father. They made a deal, according to her, freedom for naps. She was given permission to visit and cuddle the kiddos every once in a while. At the same time she revealed this information, Britney also shared that they brought her comfort in a time when she was forced to be very uncomfortable. After her father forced her into 2 psychological assessments where they physically pinned her to a gurney, she realized that she could do nothing to stop them from doing anything to her physical body, so she had to start figuring out what to do mentally. Her kids brought her a sense of calmness that she was able to hold on to and use to get through a really tough time. And those are the sick lies that Britney exposed regarding her family in her new memoir. Number 10. Madonna. Madonna's name is mentioned several times throughout Britney's memoir, 17 to be exact. As a young girl, Britney idolized Madonna and did everything to be like her. Once she gained some fame and was asked to attend award shows, Britney was bumping into Madonna all around the world. At one point in time, she was staying with music icon Cher when Madonna came by for a little visit. Britney claims that she found a mentor in Madonna. Her confidence helped her see a lot about her situation with a fresh set of eyes. While rehearsing for the Video Music Awards one year, Britney had the idea to get Madonna involved on her single Me Against the Music. She approached her directly and the rest is history. Reflecting on her past following her time spent with Madonna, Britney claims that if she could go back, she would attempt to be her own everything. Her boss, her own parent, her own friend, her own partner, because hey, that's what Madonna does. Spears was in awe of how much Madonna refused to compromise her artistic vision and integrity, something that she carried with her for years, and thanks Madonna for allowing her to witness. Number 9. Colin Farrell. Shortly after her breakup with Justin Timberlake, Spears revealed that she laid eyes on a handsome man named Colin Farrell. Farrell, who you may know from the first Fantastic Beasts film or one of his several dramatic roles, but who I know as Bullseye from Daredevil. She met Colin on the set of SWAT, and there was no security on the set, so Britney was just kinda able to drive up and pop by for a visit. One day while visiting the soundstage, the director of SWAT spotted her and asked if she would like to watch them film a scene, and Colin approached. According to Britney herself and Colin were involved in a 2-week brawl. What that translates to is they could not take their hands off each other. He even took her to the premiere of The Recruit, where she accidentally wore a pajama top instead of normal clothes. Quite the brawl indeed. She claimed that the fling was short and ended quick after she realized that she was just using Colin as a rebound, still not being over Justin Timberlake. Speaking of which, number 8. Justin Timberlake. One of the most discussed sections of her memoir is of course the revelation of what really happened when Britney Spears and her Mickey Mouse Club co-star Justin Timberlake got together. After meeting JT in the clubhouse, the two sparked a romantic connection. Their connection was so strong, but unfortunately Britney had to make a difficult decision in the year 2000 after she found out that she was pregnant. At first, Britney was actually pretty excited about the whole thing. In her book, she revealed that she had planned on starting a family with Justin at some point, but that this was just going to be a little bit earlier than she expected. It turns out that Justin was not so excited and told her that they were both too young to be starting a family, continuing to remind her that their careers would also need to be put on pause. This revelation may be part of the reason that Justin was reportedly so nervous leading up to the book's release. Britney revealed that if the decision had solely been left to her, she would have gone through with the pregnancy, but she decided to go the opposite route instead. She claims to have only done it because Justin so clearly did not want to be the father. In the book, she said that looking back, it's one of the most agonizing things she has ever experienced in her life. Number 7. Christina Aguilera. Christina and Britney met the same way that most young Hollywood people meet, while auditioning for the all-new Mickey Mouse Club. During the first round of auditions, neither of them made the cut, but they were reintroduced after they were recasted later on, even sharing a dressing room during their time on the show in the 90s. The up-and-coming starlets were pitted against each other in the media and were often made to look like rivals. In the memoir, not much light is shed on this aspect of the relationship, but she did mention that she was very confused when Christina was vocally in support of Britney and Justin getting back together in 2003, writing that she was surprised considering how negative she had been about the situation behind closed doors. She is also completely out of the conversation when she mentions her onstage kiss with Madonna in 2001, which we'll get into in a little bit. Later in the book, Britney actually compliments Christina on her ability to handle her nerves when it comes to live TV appearances. However, Britney also revealed that herself and Christina would often employ the same dancers and would all go out and hang out together, you know, have a couple of bevies and celebrate. But under Britney's conservatorship, she was made to remain sober. She explained that Christina was a bit messed up, indulging a bit too much for Britney's liking. Britney admitted that it would have been nice to let loose with her friends at the time, but now that she's out of the conservatorship, her and Christina are free to party. Number 6. Rachel McAdams. For anyone who may have forgotten, Britney is not just famous in the world of music, but she actually attempted to get a little acting career off the ground for a brief period in the early 2000s. Following her turn in the film Crossroads, she auditioned for a big role in the rom-com The Notebook. That's right, The Notebook was almost a movie featuring Ryan Gosling and Britney Spears, literally. She got so far into the casting process that it was down to either her or Rachel for the role. In the end, as we all know, they went with Rachel McAdams, but that is a choice that Britney fully supported. Apparently, she started to get cold feet the further into the process that they went. Instead of being in The Notebook, she went on to work on her album In the Zone, putting her creative efforts to good use despite this Hollywood rejection. While we may never know what that movie would have turned out like, I made a little something to help you visualize it. Look! It's Britney Spears in a boat with Ryan Gosling. Thanks, Photoshop. Number 5. Elton John. The Rocket Man himself actually played a pivotal role in Britney being able to find her musical voice after her struggles with her conservatorship. In her memoir, Spears shared that she hadn't been thinking about recording music until Elton John reached out to her to collaborate on Hold Me Closer, a modern duet version of his hit song Tiny Dancer, a song that Britney claims to have blasted on repeat growing up. Spears and John had met almost a decade earlier and got along very well, but she was beyond excited to actually work with this guy who she idolized growing up. The result of their collaboration was Britney's first #1 song and longest charting single in over 10 years. Number 4. Justin Timberlake. Again, hey! It's JT! Again! Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're not done with this guy. Part of the memoir revealed that the baby thing happened, but another part revealed exactly what this man did to break up with Britney. He sent her a 2-word text. That was it. Following the breakup, Justin wrote and released the song Cry Me a River based on his experience with Britney, claiming that she had cheated on him while they were together, which kinda prompted the 2-word text breakup. The breakup happened while Britney was on set for the overprotected Dark Child remix music video in LA. But towards the end of the second day of filming, the director Chris Applebaum told Page 6 that Spears suddenly went missing for almost an hour. The director found Britney in her trailer on the floor with her legs crossed, bawling her eyes out while her makeup smudged. She said nothing but showed him the text that she had received from Justin that simply said the words, "It's over." 2 words was all that he felt necessary to end things with a woman who almost had his kid, and I'm not really sure how to feel about that. Number 3. Natalie Portman. Who would have guessed that Natalie Portman of all people would be mentioned in a memoir by Britney Spears? But as luck would have it, this is a small world, and the Thor Love and Thunder star actually crossed paths with Britney when they were both understudies in the off-Broadway production of Ruthless. They both played a sociopathic star named Tina Denmark, a role that Britney claims felt close to home for her. That's not a good thing to say about that role. Following her split from Justin Timberlake, she co-hosted a New Year's Eve party in New York with Natalie as a callback to their theater days. Now, I've never pictured Britney Spears on stage doing anything other than singing, but the idea of her also acting in a live show is kinda neat. Hey, Broadway people, call Britney and Natalie up, get them casted together in a production of Wicked or something. I'd watch that. Britney can be Elphaba, and Natalie can be whoever she wants because she's Natalie frickin' Portman. Number 2. Mariah Carey. Despite being a mega pop star herself, Britney had a mega fangirl moment when she met Mariah Carey. In the early years of her career, Britney had been a longtime fan of Mariah's work. As a kid, she would practice performing by making homemade music videos of herself dancing and singing to Carey's music. She introduced herself to Mariah by knocking on her dressing room door backstage at an award show that the two had been attending. She details that Mariah was a sweetheart and immediately said yes to taking a picture together, but in true Mariah fashion, she would not accept anything but good lighting and the right angles. She did everything she was told by Mariah in order to get the right angle, and Britney claimed that Mariah knows her stuff, and the pic looked incredible. She knew she had won an award that night, but she could not compare her trophy to her picture with her childhood hero. And at number 1, Max Martin. While working on her first album, Britney was encouraged by record label executives to meet a producer from Sweden. She and Max Martin met to have a little chit-chat. Max went on to become one of pop music's most successful songwriters and producers. Their dinner was private, there were no assistants or label representatives, it was just them and some steak. Within seconds of sitting down, a candle fell over and set their table on fire. They ran out of the room, and the rest is history. Despite their first meeting literally going up in flames, he was impressed with her talents and she with his skills as a producer. They started working together immediately after, with Britney flying back and forth to Sweden to record.
And at number 10, Britney bribed her parents' divorce. One of the most shocking revelations from Jamie Lynn's book and interviews was the fact that her parents never had the perfect marriage, and their father Jamie struggled with alcohol issues while they were young. This caused his behavior to be unpredictable when they were growing up, and it put a huge strain on their children. Because of the toxic relationship, Britney told her mother she would buy her a house if she divorced Jamie, her father. Her mother did this, got the house and the divorce, and then her father basically lived at the house anyway. Jamie Lynn says their dad was there the first night that the women moved into the new house. Jamie Lynn didn't know how to act. She was so young, she was knowing her sister's wishes, but seeing her mother staying with this man, she was angry, upset, and didn't know which side to take. And at number 9, barefoot in a gas station bathroom. In 2004, Britney made the strange decision to go barefoot into a sketchy bathroom, and the media questioned her cleanliness ever since that incident. While at a gas station in Ventura, California, Britney needed to use the bathroom and decided to just use one at the gas station. Her fiancé Kevin Federline was waiting in the car for her when paparazzi snapped her walking into the unisex bathroom with bare feet. Yup, that's right. Britney decided to use a unisex gas station bathroom with no shoes on. I feel like it would honestly be hard to find any celebrity that would be okay with using a gas station bathroom in general. After that, the media exploded questioning her hygiene, and I'm sure she regrets how much media attention that small moment got. But at the end of the day, if she feels fine going barefoot, who are we to judge? And at number 8, Jamie Lynn's terrifying experience. In her new book, Jamie Lynn describes a terrifying event with her sister that sheds light on the struggles that Britney was facing at that time. She wrote, quote, "One time she said to me, 'Baby, I'm scared,' and took a large knife from the kitchen, pulled me along to my room, and she locked us both inside. She put the weapon in the bedside table drawer and simply repeated, 'I'm scared.' She needed me to sleep beside her." Jamie Lynn describes how scared she was during that incident and claims she experienced panic attacks after that. Britney responded to the shocking allegations on Twitter, denying that the event ever happened. Britney wrote, quote, "I've never been around you with a knife, or would I ever think to do such." Neither parent has made a statement about which sister is telling the truth. And at number 7, Jason Alexander wedding. One of Britney's most controversial moments was when she decided to get married to her childhood friend in Vegas, clearly an impulsive move. Her sister Jamie Lynn gave more details surrounding this event in her book, and Jamie Lynn said she could sense that something was wrong when Britney came home for the holidays. Jamie Lynn describes Britney coming home for the holidays and acting very strange. Britney allegedly met up with Alexander on Christmas Eve before she took the women in the family on a tropical vacation. She wrote, quote, "Immediately I noticed that Britney was being secretive and keeping her distance. She wanted to be anywhere but with us. I was particularly hurt by her shunning." After the family got back from the trip, Britney flew to Vegas with friends, and Jamie Lynn knew something bad was going to happen. Jamie Lynn even remembers telling Britney not to get married. Then Britney just rolled her eyes and told her that she wouldn't. But as we know, just hours later, Britney would in fact marry him. Jamie Lynn admitted she was embarrassed by the whole fiasco, though to keep up appearances she pretended at the time it was blown out of proportion. She added, "At that point, the chaos of my sister's life was just beginning." And at number 6, driving with infant on lap. In 2006, there was another incident with Britney and her new baby that actually caused the police to show up at her home to check on them. Paparazzi snapped Britney at a Malibu Starbucks driving out of the parking lot with her baby, Sean Preston, in her lap. This is not only illegal but very scary, as infants must ride in car seats to be as safe as possible on the road. When asked later about the incident, she blamed aggressive paparazzi. The paparazzi made her pull out quickly because she felt threatened. But the police did not care about this explanation, and the LA County Sheriff's Department visited Spears' home to talk about the incident at the request of county child welfare authorities. The paparazzi also clapped back at the claims and said they were not threatening her in any way. The photo agency said, quote, "These pictures were taken in a very peaceful context in which photographers exhibited no aggressive behavior." Halfway number 5, the family's Hollywood team made all the decisions. Although we are putting most of the blame on the conservatorship on Britney's father Jamie, which should be the case, we need to discuss the role that Hollywood executives had in it too. These executives also made a lot of family decisions during Jamie Lynn's unexpected teen pregnancy. This is the reason that Britney's made a point to talk about the bad job done by her previous lawyers, along with the manipulation by Lou Taylor, who was Britney's business manager at the time of her conservatorship. It is widely believed that Taylor was the real architect of the conservatorship and gave Jamie the tools he needed to control Britney's life. Jamie Lynn herself even questioned who made a lot of the decisions during her time pregnant. Jamie Lynn also stated that the media has been twisting a lot of the quotes that the sisters have said, and the media are the ones putting the wedge between the whole family. And at number 4, almost dropped her son. This was another incident back in 2006 involving her newborn son. Only a week after the incident where she was caught driving with the baby on her lap, she tripped while walking in Manhattan and almost dropped her son, Sean Preston. She was leaving the Ritz-Carlton holding a drink in her right hand and Sean in her left as she maneuvered through the crowd of onlookers. Britney moved through the crowd and then she suddenly tripped. The baby's head then went backward as the hat flew off his head. Britney regained her balance and the baby seemed okay thanks to a quick reaction from the bodyguard. To make matters worse, it didn't look like she spilled a drop of the drink that she was holding in her other hand. It was reported that days later she had a breakdown over the incident. Since 2 of these similar incidents with her son happened so closely together, her parenting skills were further scrutinized by the public. And at number 3, attacks paparazzi with umbrella. One of Britney's worst moments in the press was in 2007 when she attacked a paparazzi with a green umbrella because she was so mad over all the attention she was getting. At this time, Britney was clearly going through a lot. She had just shaved her head in front of the public. It was all anyone was talking about. Britney was begging to be left alone and deal with her issues while not getting bombarded with paparazzi. But obviously that did not happen and she was hounded more than ever. At the time, her paparazzi attack became so famous that a Florida morning radio host even used photos from her breakdown on his Total Nut Jobs billboards. Months after the incident, she apologized in a bizarre statement, writing, quote, "I apologize to the pop for a stunt that was done 4 months ago regarding an umbrella. I was preparing my character for a role in a movie where the husband never plays his part, so they switch places accidentally. I take all my roles very seriously and got a little carried away. Unfortunately, I didn't get the part." And at number 2, screaming at Sam Lutfi. Sam Lutfi is one of the most controversial people in the world of Britney Spears, and her entire family blames Sam for her eventual downfall in 2007. In 2008, the pair got in a screaming match over Britney's boyfriend at the time, paparazzo Adnan Ghalib, and this was one of many of their public fights back then. Apparently, Britney and Sam got in a huge fight and Britney refused to go into his house, so she called her boyfriend, Adnan Ghalib, to come get her at Sam's house. He came right over, but when he got there, Sam would not let him get Britney. The guards were under strict orders from Sam not to let him in. He tried calling each of her 6 cell phones and the house phone, but she did not answer. Years later, Britney would get restraining orders from both Sam Lutfi and Adnan Ghalib. And finally, number 1, her career was almost threatened. Back in the 90s when Britney was becoming a star, there was a man in the shadows of all the most famous boy bands who ended up scamming all of them. The man was named Lou Pearlman, and he created both the Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. He wanted Spears to join a girl group that he had been working on, but she was more set on being a solo artist at the time. Thankfully, she didn't want to be in a girl group, or she would have been working with Pearlman when the members of the boy bands realized that they were being scammed. He was later sued for fraud and misrepresentation by most of the pop acts that he worked with, on top of being behind one of the largest Ponzi schemes in history. And the members of the boy bands only received a fraction of the money that he owed them.
Number 10. Justin Timberlake. One of the most discussed sections of the memoir is of course the revelation of what really happened when Britney and her Mickey Mouse Club co-star Justin Timberlake got together. After meeting JT in the clubhouse, the two sparked a romantic connection. Their connection was strong, but unfortunately Britney had to make a difficult decision in the year 2000 after she found out she was pregnant. At first, Britney was actually pretty excited about the whole thing. In her book, she revealed that she had planned on starting a family with Justin at some point, but this was just going to be a little bit earlier than she expected. It turns out Justin was not so excited and told her that they were both too young to be starting a family, continuing to remind her that their careers would also need to be put on pause. This revelation may be part of the reason that Justin was reportedly so nervous leading up to the book's release. Britney revealed that if the decision had solely been left to her, she would have gone through with the pregnancy, but she decided to go the opposite route instead. She claims to have only done it because Justin just so clearly did not want to be the father. In the book, she said that, look back, it's one of the the most agonizing things she had ever experienced in her life. Number 9. Mama Spears. One thing that comes up a lot in Britney Spears' memoir is her relationship to her parents. She discusses the strain that has been placed especially on the bond between herself and her mother, Lynn Spears. She dives deep into her childhood and what really went down, and in the book she said that she started drinking no-no juice with her mother when she was just in the 8th grade. Of course, that is awful and nobody should ever do that because Britney wouldn't just have a sip of grape juice now and again. No, she would drink no-no juice like it was her job. She explained that for fun, she started having fruity no-no juice with her mom while they were in Biloxi, Mississippi. To make things feel less, illegal, they would call the drinks toddies, named after the adult beverage that's basically just no-no tea. Britney felt a special bond with her mother because of this, especially considering the contrast between her mom and her father, Jamie. You see, when her mom had a few, she was bubbly and happy, and same with Britney, but when Jamie had a few, he would get angry and depressed. The behavior is terrible, and while bonding with your parents is pretty awesome, that is not the right way to do it. Number 8. The Snake. Britney Spears has performed at the Video Music Awards a few times over her career, but none quite as memorable as her infamous dance with the snake at the 2001 VMA ceremony. Britney walked on stage and began a performance of I'm a Slave for You with a massive snake draped across her shoulders. At first it seemed cool, but throughout the performance she doesn't look at it once, keeping her head down or aimed directly at the audience. In the memoir she revealed that she is not only terrified of snakes, but that this one actually started hissing in her ears while she was on stage. Partway through the performance, the snake wraps around her and puts its face right near her ear where she claims it hissed so loudly that for a moment she thought it was going to bite her face off. But she continued with the performance and thankfully she still has her face, so that's very good. Number 7. The Notebook. While Britney may be known for her musical talents, she did have a short career in the film industry in the early 2000s. Her first role was in the film Crossroads, which, despite having a stellar cast, was apparently a very difficult experience for Britney. Although she was thrown off by that film, she was actually offered the co-starring lead role in The Notebook. The process went so deep that before production was set to begin, it was down to her and Rachel McAdams for the part. Now, we all know what happened when Rachel McAdams got the role. She had a terrible time on set and spent 2 years with Ryan Gosling off screen. Yay! Britney said it would have been fun to reconnect with her Mickey Mouse Club co-star Ryan Gosling for a full-length feature, but in the end she's pretty glad that they didn't pick her. She instead decided to work on her album In the Zone, putting her creative efforts to good use despite this Hollywood rejection. Now, while the film has gone down in history as a rom-com classic, nobody can even fathom what a Britney and Ryan-led movie might have looked like. But it probably would have looked something like this. Number 6. Mickey Mouse Club. Now, I actually didn't know this because, to be honest, I'm not a big Britney Spears fan. Oh, I know it's a shocker, I just scream pop music, but the first time I saw this woman on screen was genuinely in Austin Powers Goldmember, and her head exploded. So, overall, pretty solid first impression. However, her actual first role in the acting world took place in 1993, after she landed a gig on the Mickey Mouse Club, a show that would turn out to be a huge part of her life. Despite the colorful set and overall just Disney-ness of the show, Britney explained that filming was never easy. She revealed that the show was like being at a boot camp for the entertainment industry. Extensive dance rehearsals, singing lessons, acting classes, time in the recording studio, school in between, it was a lot. In fact, much like school, she explained that the show's cast was divided into cliques, with the younger castmates being in one crew and the olders being in the other. She admitted that there were some fun moments, like sharing a little smooch with Justin Timberlake, but it was still a very grueling job. She said it was extremely hard to work, and more often than not, the groups would be in rehearsal practicing choreography 30 times a day. That's like 28 times too many. At the end of the day, Britney treated the club like a job that took up a ton of her childhood. Number 5. Jamie Spears. Britney's father, Jamie, has had a complex relationship with his daughter for most of her life. In her memoir, she shared the harsh judgment she constantly received from her papa. She explained that she thought getting criticized for her body in the press was bad, but it hurt even more when it was coming from her own father. He repeatedly told her that she looked heavy and that she really needed to do something about it. He wasn't that nice, but I'm paraphrasing. She explained that even as a small child, he never gave her the love or the attention that she needed. In the book, she said that feeling like you are never good enough is a soul-crushing state for a young child. He drummed that message into her growing up, and even after she accomplished so much, he was continuing to make her feel like dirt. Jamie's wild opinions about Britney got so much worse when she was under her conservatorship. Under the conservatorship, Jamie was named as one of the several people in her life that could make important decisions for her mind, body, and soul, and she was forced to grow her recently shaved hair back and get back into shape. For 13 years, Jamie remained in control of her life right up until the suspension in 2021. Speaking of which, number 4, conservatorship. As many may know, Britney was placed under a psychiatric hold in 2008 following what we will call a difficult evening, and was later placed under a conservatorship by her father Jamie. In her book, she explained what she had been going through at the time. She said that shaving her head and acting out were her ways of pushing back. Under the conservatorship, she was made to understand that those days were now over. She had to grow her hair back, get back into shape, and she went to bed early and had to take whatever medications that they told her to. Britney revealed that she felt like an infant under the conservatorship and lost her passion for music. She explained that she started to feel more and more like a thing on stage rather than a person. In her book, she said she had always felt music in her bones, but her family kind of stole that from her. She reminded readers of the contrast between male and female artists, telling them to think of all the male artists who've gambled their money away, who had substance control issues or mental health issues, and many of them have never had control of their bodies or money taken away. Before the book was released, people were just under the impression that the conservatorship was some kind of a financial thing, but as her book has revealed, it's a lot darker than that. Number 3, the secret man. Among the many things being revealed in Britney's memoir, one shocking revelation was that she actually met and fell in love with a man while under her conservatorship that almost led her to fleeing the US with said man. She explained that she was talking to a guy that she really liked, and he wanted her to leave the country with him. Not creepy at all. They had a secret relationship for quite some time and were eventually set to make the journey across the sea. But when she opened up about the romance to her assistant, she was hesitant, saying that she was worried what her father may do. Her assistant guaranteed nothing would happen, but was proven wrong when she was forced into a mental health facility around the same time that she was supposed to leave the country. And there's never been a confirmation if the two situations are related, but it kind of feels like it is. Yeah, it feels like they were. Number 2, finding her voice. Britney has been through a ton in her life, but it turns out that we didn't even know the half of it. During her court testimonies, while she was attempting to reclaim her freedom, she said that she was forced to go to a mental health facility against her will in early 2019. It was almost 2 years ago that she regained control of her millions and every other aspect of her life. In 2022, her father requested to unseal all of the records from the duration of her conservatorship. Britney's attorney, Matthew Rosengart, called this move offensive and highly inappropriate. He explained that they did not believe a father who loves his daughter would file to unseal her medical records. Makes sense. Britney's new book is a new revelation to her side of things. A little over a year ago, her younger sister Jamie Lynn released a book called Things I Should Have Said, and in it she included a ton of details regarding Britney that seemed to paint her in a bad light. But most of Britney's fans felt that the stories were just a way to profit off her older sister during a time when she was still making headlines. And at number 1, lost all control. As previously mentioned, when Britney was placed under her conservatorship, every single aspect of her life was controlled by someone else, and mostly her dad. She was unable to make financial, physical, or personal decisions without running them through Lil Papa Jamie first, a man who is just notorious for being a terrible person both inside and out. While the conservatorship was dropped in 2021, the pain of her time is still lingering. She said that the conservatorship stripped her of her womanhood and made her feel like a child. In her memoir, Britney revealed that if she had been allowed to make her own decisions instead of her father, that she would be in a much better place. She wrote that 13 years of her life went by with her feeling like a shadow of herself. She constantly thinks back to the times her father would control her body or her money, and it makes her sick to her stomach. Most of her life was controlled by someone else for a very long time, but now that she's free, who knows what will happen next. Number 10. Rehabilitation. Oh baby, baby, how was she supposed to know that substances don't end very well? Britney is famous for many things: her voice, her missing hair, and now her freedom. But one of her tamer media scandals came in 2007 following a long night of rage-fueled menacing. She checked herself into a rehab facility. She had recently divorced from her background dancer slash husband, Kevin Federline, and apparently was not taking the situation well. As we know now, there was a massive amount of media and public involvement with the divorce. The entire thing was basically documented for everyone everyone to see. I still remember Britney's bald head on my TV screen at the age of 6 because my sister just loved TMZ. According to her manager at the time, the messy divorce combined with the public shame that she was feeling, the decision was made to check herself into a rehabilitation facility somewhere in Los Angeles. She stayed in the facility for 30 days before being released back into the wild, but despite that stint, things did not get better, and her family life especially was next to suffer. Number 9. The 2007 VMAs. The MTV Video Music Awards have been host to some of the most confrontational and dramatic moments in music history. Nicki Minaj famously called out host Miley Cyrus when she took the stage to accept an award. Kanye West interrupted Taylor Swift's acceptance speech to tell people that he was happy for Taylor, but that Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time. Yeah, I know he goes by Ye now, but I don't care. When Britney Spears took to the stage at the 2007 VMAs, fans were happy to see her on her feet as the media made it seem like she had been going down a dark path, which she was. She appeared on stage sporting a blonde wig, which was obvious to anyone who was aware of the head shaving incident a few months prior. She started singing in the most under-enthusiastic way ever, and while her background dancers are giving it their all, it looks like Britney's just stumbling around the stage with little to no idea what's going on. She even attempted to lip-sync her songs, but she failed miserably, barely coming close to what she needed to do. The performance, which was her last before taking her hiatus from performing, will live forever on the internet for the world to see, and was actually parodied in the final moments of the comedy Disaster Movie, which is the most random piece of cinema I have ever seen in my life. Number 8. Public Family Feud. Britney is just like anyone else. She brushes her teeth in the morning, she goes to bed at night, and she constantly fights with her family, like non-stop. Now you guys don't do that? Okay, I'm just gonna make a phone call. Britney wasn't born into a typical happy family life. In fact, quite the opposite. Her parents struggled to make ends meet, her father was an avid consumer of the no-no juice, and an aggressive presence in her life. According to Britney's mom, her daughter urged her to leave her husband several times over the years after seeing her suffer years and years of verbal mistreatment. Throughout her rise to fame, her father was primarily kept out of her life until 2007 when she was placed under a conservatorship, which means that a court decided that she was unfit to control her own finances, so they placed her father in charge, because he had such a great track record. Over the 13 years she was under the conservatorship, it's estimated that her father stole $5 million from his own daughter. She famously fought with her sister Jamie Lynn, who was the star of a Nickelodeon show called Zoe 101, until outside life caused her to take a break from the acting world to be a mama. The paparazzi was able to capture lots of juicy pics of Britney yelling at her family, blowing up every single aspect they could of it. She eventually patched things up with her sister in 2019, but the jury is still out on her relationship with her dad. Number 7. Marrying a background dancer. Britney's love life has been anything but straight and narrow. Over her life she's had many men come and go, never seeming to find the right fit for her lifestyle. In 2006, Britney married a man named Kevin Federline after meeting one fateful night in a nightclub. After spending 1 week together, Britney invited Kevin to join her world tour, where he acted as both her lover and a background dancer. They described meeting as love at first sight. Kevin spotted her from across the room and felt an instant connection. A magnet appeared in front of them like a cartoon and it just drew them together. The paparazzi couldn't get enough of these two. While they were seemingly in a genuine relationship, they made it seem like the couple were the most chaotic in the world. Their union was a media massacre. They were so stoked to see this relationship either crash and burn or, well, yeah, they just wanted it to crash and burn. After less than a year together, the couple filed for divorce, apparently citing constant fighting as their main issue. Not long after, Britney went on her famous meltdown, so needless to say she did not take the breakup very well. Number 6. Smacked herself. This is a more recent scandal with Miss Spears. Recently, Britney was in the most peaceful and godlike city in the world, Las Vegas, Nevada, when she spotted the NBA player Victor Wembanyama at a hotel, and I'm very sorry if I mispronounced that name. According to the police reports and the recently released security video, Britney tapped Vic on his back and shoulder in an attempt to get his attention. This is when his security team had reportedly backhanded her, causing the whole situation in the first place. Britney claimed that the security detail laid their hands on her, but the reality was the security team's ninja-like reflexes caused them to accidentally push her back towards herself, inadvertently slapping herself across the face. The funny thing with that situation is just how hard she was convinced that someone else had hit her. Like she didn't feel her own hand touch her face. That'd be like me standing here right now and going, "Hey, who did that? Chris Chris, is that you? That's the camera guy, he never gets a shout out. With the footage now not only proving her guilt, but her misremembering of the situation, many are beginning to question if Britney was all there during the situation. Just saying, the only time I forget stuff that significant is after a couple of trips to my deck, if you know what I mean. Number 5, the meltdown. As many people know, Britney began a downward spiral health-wise in 2007. After her divorce from Kevin Federline, she not only shaved her head, but she went on a rage-fueled rampage across the city, taking down anyone in her path. After being swarmed by photographers at a gas station in LA, she went on a rampage wielding an umbrella and swinging it over and over at one of their cars, attempting to smash their window. She also hurled expletives at anyone and everyone with a camera, eventually launching the umbrella towards the crowd. This was the main incident that landed her in a psychiatric hold. Fun fact about that umbrella used in the incident, it was auctioned off for $7,000 online, and I cannot wait for it to show up. All my life savings on that thing. I hope there's still some broken glass on it. Number 4, accidentally released birthday suit pics. Birthday suits, a term which originated in Germany as a term for the clothes that you are born in, which is none. Britney accidentally exposed her birthday suit in 2022 when she posted a series of photos to her Instagram of herself holding her new puppy. While it may not seem outside the realm of reality for anyone who is a hardcore Britney fan, to everyone else, she just exposed herself on one of the most used social media platforms in the world. The photos were later deleted after a series of negative comments and messages began bombarding her inbox. Nothing ever came of this, but just let this entry be a reminder to never post a picture of yourself holding a puppy in your birthday suit. Hold a bearded dragon or a snake or something, make yourself look edgy. Number 3, weird TikToks. This entry isn't a scandal per se, but it certainly needs to be mentioned. Fans rejoiced when the hashtag #FreeBritney finally worked and she was released from her conservatorship in 2021. Since being released, fans were expecting her to possibly release some more music, or maybe even appear as a judge on a new reality show. Instead, what she has been up to is making some of the weirdest and hardest to watch TikToks on the planet. If you follow her account unironically, I do apologize, but this entry is probably not for you. Britney regularly posts videos of herself staring into the camera and dancing. Now, while this is the basis for the platform, she has this blank, lifeless stare when she does it, like she's peering directly into your soul. I've only ever witnessed a handful of these clips, but every time I do, I'm just reminded of how strange and unnerving the internet can be sometimes. Aren't you glad that you popped by this little slice of internet heaven? Click that like button if you are. Number 2, she shaved her head. In 2007, aka Britney's glory year, she famously posted a video of herself holding clippers in a barber's chair, missing most of her hair. Not all of it though, she looked a little bit like the dude from Brothers Grimm. If you haven't seen that movie, that is Heath Ledger's best performance, okay? A documentary about Britney's life was released in 2019 called Britney Spears Breaking Point. In the doc, she revealed the true story behind her shaving of the head. Following a brief stint in a rehab facility in Antigua, Britney fled to see her sons, who had been living with her ex Kevin. Of course, when she turned up at their doorstep and not at the facility that she was supposed to be in, Kevin refused to let her see the kids and sent her away. This led her to driving to Los Angeles to the salon where she shaved her head. The person who cut her hair kept it and quickly attempted to auction it off for $1 million, which sounds crazy, but you know that there are some weirdos out there who would have called that a bargain. Following the shaving, she made her way to a tattoo parlor where the artist asked her what happened to her hair, and Britney's response was, "I was just tired of people touching it. I just don't want people to touch my hair." This was an incident that eventually got Britney placed under the conservatorship, which she was released from in 2021, thankfully. Speaking of which, number 1, conservatorship. Britney's father was a dark cloud in her life, doing nothing but making everything harder for his daughter. Despite initially taking a back seat while she rose to fame, a court ruled in 2007 that she was unfit to control her own finances and granted that power instead to her father, who was a no-no juice enthusiast with a sweet tooth for expensive things. After the second time she was admitted to the hospital for psychiatric assessment, the financial power was thrust onto her father, who managed her money very well. I'm just kidding, he's a trash bag and he spent a lot of money that he didn't have. Her father reportedly stole $5 million from his daughter over the 13-year conservatorship, spending it on everything from vacations and boats to houses and cars. course, all wasted by Jamie. Financial woes were not the only problem that came with the conservatorship. According to a court report from 2019, Britney was unable to get married or have children under the conservatorship, which is, disgusting. Just so gross. I don't care how crazy you are or unstable. If you want to get married, you go do it. Plus, what would have happened if she had a baby anyway? Like, oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, you actually can't have that. You're too crazy for one of those, and I'm gonna have to confiscate that contraband. Thankfully, the conservatorship ended in 2021, and Britney is free to be her weird, wild self. If you need any proof, just check out the TikTok. Seriously, it's just...
Coming number 10, we have the bizarre clips. Recently, Britney Spears took to her Instagram to post a very bizarre video where she talked about everything from fashions to fans calling the cops for deleting her Instagram. The whole video ended up being under a minute long, and throughout it, she kept talking in a semi-Australian and British accent. What started out with Britney talking about a dress she made and getting help from a friend to sew it, then she ended up changing it and switched it from talking about a dress that was sent to her by a company while she began to run all over her room. She then randomly shifted her story once more to talk about a story TMZ broke earlier when fans called the cops to Britney's house to perform a welfare check after she deleted her Instagram, saying, "So guys, I just want you to know if I shut down my Instagram, do not call the cops." But the whole thing just seemed really random, and it seemed like the star was just hinting at something. Number 9, the intervention. On February 9th, TMZ released an article that claimed Britney Spears' friends and family planned an intervention for the star as they were scared the star was out of control. Recently, Britney has been struggling with her mental health and substance abuse, among other problems. And now, people close to her are planning an intervention as her loved ones fear she may pass away if things don't change. Multiple sources with direct knowledge would then tell TMZ that the people around Britney have become alarmed with her erratic behavior. And they also told the media outlet that she has been taking medications to hype herself up, but she's really just been flying off the handle while increasing these medications regularly. And not taking the medication, she actually needs to stabilize her. The situation has gotten so bad that Britney's manager has even rented a house in LA for several months, and the plan is to take the pop star to the house where her husband, manager, interventionalist, and doctors will be present, and they will attempt to convince the star that she needs help. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Number 8, complex medical issues. It appears like Britney Spears is reportedly facing complex medical issues, as sources who have been working closely with Britney told Page 6 on February 10th that things were not really going well, when they said nobody outside the very small conservatorship circle knows what Britney's medical status really is. If people knew Britney's actual medical status, I think it would reveal that her mental problems are far more severe than people think. The insider would also go on to agree that regardless of the pop star's mental condition, it really isn't necessarily appropriate for her to be under a conservatorship, as there are far less harsh ways to handle her current situation. With there being growing reports of Britney planning to abandon an intervention that was planned for the star has only caused more concern after she went online to say there's obviously a lot of people who don't wish her well. Number 7, a rare outing. So back in January, Britney caused quite a scene on a Friday night in an LA restaurant. It said that the pop star had such a bizarre meltdown that it even prompted her husband to storm out of the restaurant. Eyewitnesses would tell TMZ that Britney and her husband Sam showed up with a bodyguard at a Joey restaurant location on Woodland Hills, which was packed with people who immediately recognized the star. From the start of the dinner, apparently, it was a bust for Britney, as fans in the restaurant just kept pulling out their cell phones and taking footage of the star, and when it started to get on her nerves, things quickly turned sour. Eyewitnesses would then tell the media outlet that Britney became manic as she was seen yelling and talking gibberish, and that her speech just became completely unrecognizable. To the point Sam became extremely upset, stormed out of the restaurant, and if things couldn't get any more concerning, TMZ went on to release a clip of Britney in the restaurant where she could be seen sitting alone at the table, speaking incoherently. Number 6, wants privacy. So on January 26, Britney Spears started to make headlines once more again after she took to her Twitter account to put her fans in their place as she politely asked them to respect her in her privacy going forward. When the singer took to her Twitter to discuss an incident to which apparently police were called to her house after she deleted her Instagram account, the star would say, "As everyone knows, the police were called to my home based on some prank phone calls. I love and adore my fans, but this time things went a little too far and my privacy was invaded." The star then went on to note that the police never entered her home, but they came to her gate and quickly realized that there was no issue and left immediately. But the whole situation made her feel like she was being gaslighted and bullied once the incident made its way to the news. She then went on to say during this time in her life, she truly hopes the public and her fans who care so much about her can respect her privacy moving forward, and then signed off her post with "All the love, B." Number 5. The mental breakdown. So on February 10th, Britney Spears once again had to assure her overprotective fans that her loneliness isn't affecting her overall health when she finally took the time to address the rumors that stated she was struggling with her own mental health and needed an intervention. While she admitted that she was taking medication to help combat her depression, the clip posted to her Instagram page would come just a day after TMZ quoted a source in regular contact with Britney who warned the media outlet that they were afraid that the star may pass away sometime soon. In the video, Britney would go on to say, "I'm here, I'm alive, yeah, I'm very much alive and well, and I've got my fur here." She then went on to show the camera her new white shawls and then saying, "You see, I'm feeling myself." But this all just seemed like the star was just having another weird mental breakdown, as before she ended the video, she went on to say, "I'm here, I'm happy, I'm well, that's it." And then she went on to say, "Skip, skip, skip," and she signed off. Number 4. The welfare check. So back in January, Britney deleted her Instagram again, and it caused some major concern from her fans. TMZ would then go on to report that the sheriff's office then received several calls from fans who felt like the deleted account indicated that Britney was in trouble. When the police finally made the final call to make a visit to Britney's Thousand Oaks, California home, they were determined that there was no sign of danger. The whole thing just seemed a little weird, as no one ever confirmed if deputies spoke to Britney directly during the welfare check. Also, just before the star deleted her Instagram, she changed her name on her Instagram to River Red, and then she posted a very odd video of herself dancing. It also became very unclear if Britney was referring to the 1998 movie River Red, but it's also worth noting that this isn't the first time the star has deleted her Instagram and has caused major concern from her fans and family over the matter. Number 3. The smudged makeup. Lately, it just seems like Britney Spears' face looks a little dirty. And while the star did clap back at fans who pointed this out, it almost looks like she does it because she's trying to make an attempt to cover a black eye. The star would also take to her Instagram story to say, "I'm sorry my face looks dirty, but I've had an emotional day and I have no makeup on. I know most people don't like the way I do my makeup, but honestly, I have the best skincare routine." However, when the singer posted a photo where it looked like she was sporting a black eye in the photo, it caused fans to point out that the photo may be indicating that she's using her social media pages to signal for help. And I don't blame her fans, as her smudge makeup look does look like she is looking for help, as it looks like she's having a mental breakdown or that she cried just before she went on the camera to film a video to try to prove that she's doing alright. Number 2. Jamie Lynn Spears. So back in January, Britney came for her little sister Jamie Lynn Spears yet again after Jamie Lynn complained about how hard it was being related to a superstar on Fox News reality series Special Forces World's Toughest Test. After watching the episode, Britney would head over to her Instagram to say, "Are we really gonna say it was hard to be my sister? Really?" Britney then went on to remind her followers that once she became famous, her loved ones were all treated to spa days and champagne while she was barred from enjoying such simple pleasures as coffee, and how she was forced to perform day after day. Britney then went on to say, "We teach her the meaning of mean and then throw her away in the end with no self-rights. You want me to share it on television? I'd rather spit in their faces and trash them on Instagram because that's all my family has ever been to me." Britney then went on to note that she suffered severe nerve damage from her controversial conservatorship and that her family did nothing but hurt her as she went on to lose 15 years of her life. It's clear Britney is still struggling with her past, and she's trying to warn us that these things are still on her mind as her family continues to drag her name. And coming at number 1 today, we have the random statement. So on February 22nd, Britney made this rare appearance on a radio station, K2U 103.5, where she revealed that Madonna was originally asking her and Gwen Stefani to be part of the infamous 2003 spectacle during the MTV Video Awards, to which Madonna individually kissed Christina Aguilera and Britney, as Justin Timberlake, who had recently just split from Britney, looked on from the audience very confused. The whole moment just seemed a way too me moment, as it would come just a month after Jennifer Lopez said she too originally had been approached by Madonna for the steamy performance. It just seems like Madonna and Britney wanted whoever they could to get up on the stage for the performance, as they wanted to be one giant party. But honestly, they got everyone they wanted up on that stage. For that incident, it probably would have just been one really weird party. And she went on also to shade Christina Aguilera with Pink when they made some Lady Marmalade comments. Coming in number 10, we have Fled LA. On March 28th, Britney Spears would be seen without her wedding ring after rumors started circulating online that she and her husband Sam were facing marriage troubles. The pop star looked disheveled as she climbed out of the backseat of a chauffeured SUV before boarding a private jet in Los Angeles. In photographs obtained by the Daily Mail, Britney could be seen caught looking sad while trying to enjoy her day while grasping onto a teddy bear before boarding a private jet. Thanks to her Instagram account, we would learn that Britney is currently taking a vacation in Hollywood with her longtime manager, Cade Hudson. With the news confirming that almost a year after the couple got married, after 5 years of dating, it makes you wonder if Sam really cared about Britney, or was he just after her massive fortune? Number 9, Sam takes off his wedding band. Just days after Britney fled LA to focus on her health and well-being, Sam would be spotted out without his wedding bands while he was running errands near Britney in his Thousand Oaks home on March 30th. With his bare index finger being visible as he pulled out his keys from his pocket while running errands in Los Angeles, Britney would seem unfazed by her husband's actions as she continues to soak up in the sun in her Instagram pictures while she's on vacation with her longtime friend and longtime manager, Cade Hudson. With the couple's relationship constantly being under scrutiny from the public, their split would come to a shock as many as earlier this month, Britney had us all raising our eyebrows and had us questioning if she was really happy in her third marriage after she made a post remembering all the good times she had before she got married to Sam and how happy they were together before they married each other. Hey my little peaches, are you liking this video so far? If so, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never have to miss what we might just cover next. Number 8, the restaurant meltdown. Back in January, TMZ would publish an article. In the article, Britney Spears could be seen causing a scene in an LA restaurant. While the pop star was having a bizarre meltdown after Sam told her to behave, things got a little more strange, and after a while it prompted her husband to storm out of the restaurant. Eyewitnesses would then tell TMZ that Britney and Sam showed up with a bodyguard at a Joey's restaurant in Woodland Hills, which was packed full of people that immediately recognized Britney. And from the start, the dinner was a total bust for Britney as everyone in the restaurant continued to pull out their phones to take videos and photos of the star. Britney became extremely angry at the fact that no one was respecting her privacy, and soon things went south very fast. Eyewitnesses would then say that she started having a manic episode, as out of nowhere she just started yelling and talking in gibberish. Her husband then left the restaurant instead of helping her and getting her out of the public's eye. 2 minutes later, Britney herself would get up and leave the restaurant with her bodyguard, who then he returned to pay for the couple's bill. Number 7, wedding doubts. Back in June of 2022, People magazine would cover an article about Britney's wedding and how she may have had some doubts before the wedding, as the star apparently had a panic attack just before she was set to walk down the aisle. The article would come just after Britney took to her Instagram to share a number of photos from the big day, where she would write in one when she posted, "We did it. We got married. I was so nervous all morning, but then at 2 p.m. it really hit me. We're getting married. I had a panic attack and then I got it together. The crew who created our home into literally a dream castle were fantastic. The ceremony was a dream and the party was even better." While Britney was described as being happy on the big day, she finally made the decision to walk down the aisle. We all couldn't help though but wonder if the star herself was having doubts about walking down the aisle in the first place. Otherwise, why would she freak out and have a panic attack just hours before getting married? Maybe she realized that her relationship wasn't as perfect as it seemed. Number 6, slammed
her ex. If there's one thing you should never do in a relationship, is you should never slam your partner's ex-partners, especially if your partner shares kids with that said person. Well, back in August, things took a sharp turn for Britney after Sam stepped into her and Kevin's drama after he made some claims about Britney and her relationship with her sons, Sean and Jaden. After Kevin claimed that the boys had decided that they didn't want to see their mother and how they made the decision not to go to her wedding, Sam would jump into the mix by clapping back by saying it's not valid, that his statement was invalid regarding the kids keeping their distance from Britney, and it was irresponsible for him to make that statement publicly. The boys were very smart and that they would be 18 soon, and that it was their own decision to eventually realize that the tough part was having a father who wasn't working and that hadn't worked in 15 years, and that he wasn't really a good role model. It seems like her family has a problem with Sam and his tensions, and this could be why her kids are having to take a step back from their relationship with their mother, and that's why they haven't seen her since she got married to Sam. Number 5, a fake or real intervention. So in February, we all found out that Britney's close family and friends were really worried about the star's overall health, and with it, they were trying to plan an intervention for her. Except it turns out someone would ruin the intervention by telling the star that something was in the works for her, and that person ended up being Sam. With multiple media outlets claiming that Britney's friends and family were concerned for her overall health, Sam would force Britney to admit that she was fine, and he would make his own statement that would say, "My wife is in full control of her life and will continue to make all of her decisions involving her care regardless of the circumstances. Speculation of her health is inappropriate and it should end immediately." However, it seems like there was truth to the interventions, as a former personal trainer to Britney verified that Britney's friends and family were scared for her well-being. Number 4, crisis talks. With rumors spreading online like wildfire claiming that Britney and her husband Sam are headed towards a divorce, with the Report International the news would post in the article, they would claim that an inside source revealed to the outlet that things between Sam and Britney weren't going as well as everyone expected, and that the couple were also in a crisis talk to help save their marriage. With the insiders sharing that the couple has been rowing constantly, they would also say Britney is still angry and frustrated about the way she was treated all those years, and often takes it out on Sam. It's having a huge impact on their marriage, which is hanging on by a thread, with Sam feeling burnt out with his wife, and now anytime she acts up, he bolts as fast as he can, which leaves Britney feeling even more lost and upset, which just isn't husband material if you ask me. Number 3, left for a month. Back in November, Britney would be left holding Sam even closer than she ever had before after he left home for a month. As soon as Sam returned, Britney would share her excitement over her husband's return after being away for work by posting a workout video of her man on social media. What was only supposed to be a week away from home ended up being a whole month. And for Sam being away from Britney for a whole month, it was really hard on the star as she had to go through a lot of things on her own. It was also really hard to believe that Sam's work trip went on from being a week away from home to a whole month, and that made things even more frustrating for the pop star. And then when she asked to come visit him, he dodged her comments, and it even left Britney to joke in her own comic section on her Instagram page about how her husband was gone and how she should break up with him and just date herself. But seriously, what was he doing away from home for a whole month? Because it definitely wasn't just work. Number 2, addresses concerns. Britney has been sharing little Easter eggs for a while now that her marriage wasn't exactly perfect, especially when she deactivated her Instagram account randomly back in December. Then the sudden move would come after the star posted a series of bizarre posts, which began with Britney sharing several heartfelt tributes towards her family members that she has publicly feuded with in the past. Once Britney's account was deactivated altogether, people would start to suspect that Sam was behind Britney's bizarre Instagram activity. Fans then started to accuse the actor of being controlling, and that he's been controlling Britney since he started dating her back in 2016. Sam then came out to try to deny all the rumors after a fan asked him if he was managing Britney's account, to which he said he would never control somebody that had been controlled for 13 years. However, have you noticed recently Britney's acting out in ways as she did when her father controlled her? So her actions say otherwise, and that's probably why she looks so free right now while she's on vacation with her friend. And coming in at number 1, we have break silent about the marriage. Just after Britney had a major meltdown in a restaurant while she was on a date with her husband. After reports claimed that he stormed out of the restaurant, he would finally break his silence about his marriage with Britney Spears by telling everyone they shouldn't believe everything they read online. Then, when Britney went on to take a break from her social media account, he would then tell the public again that she was doing this because social media can be traumatizing. Sometimes it's good to take a break. She has her voice and is a free woman. I have respect for her privacy. I protect it at all times. Thank you to all of her protective fans. But seriously, is anyone else finding his post to be really sus, like something is up with this guy? And now that the two have taken off their wedding bands, we're going to see a lot of his lies come flooding out.
Number 10, the TMZ documentary. Earlier this year, TMZ released a documentary surrounding Britney's life and relationship to Sam. Throughout the doc, it's revealed that the relationship may seem fine on the outside, but in reality, they had been having problems for a very, very long time. According to the documentary, Sam and Britney would fight constantly to the point where Sam's bed became the pull-out sofa in the living room. The doc also took aim at Britney's bad habits, claiming that she was hooked on caffeine, but not like, oh my god, I love coffee, you know? It was more like, I want coffee now! Apparently, she had a rather strong craving for Red Bull and would reportedly drink it by the gallon. Her need for caffeine and high-energy substances led them to speculate that Britney was trying to cope with the difficult emotions regarding the relationship. Britney came out and claimed that she never drank energy drinks, sticking mainly to green teas and watermelon juice. Meanwhile, Sam denied several things from that documentary, but he didn't deny the caffeine control problem. Number 9, the cheating allegations. One major reveal from these two getting a divorce is that some proof has been revealed that shows the couple did in fact fight a lot. A few months ago, TMZ actually reported that Sam had accused Britney of infidelity, causing them to have a nasty verbal spat, leaving Sam out of the house and in need of a place to stay. According to the article, Sam had seen messages between Britney and a contactless phone number that were flirtatious in nature. When he confronted her about them, she was more mad than anything else. Sam went through her phone, which was, hey, not cool. The fact that they were both so quick to anger rather than solving the issue like adults was a major red flag for fans and was the first real heads up that these two were probably heading for disaster. Number 8, the overcompensation. Now, there have been a few times where this couple has flaunted their success in the face of the world, whether it be their extravagant trips to Maui or their wedding ceremony. Money seems to make the world go round for these two, but their overcompensation may be a cry for help. The pair have always been seen with something expensive either behind them or beneath them. For instance, when they were married a little over 14 months ago, the ceremony was drenched in money. The wedding dress that Britney was wearing was a white Versace gown with a long flowing veil. Sam was also in a Versace suit, and in attendance were roughly 100 guests, including Drew Barrymore and Selena Gomez, and even Madonna showed up to this thing. Everyone looked so friendly and cozy, and then they drove away in a beautiful Rolls Royce. Now, I understand wanting to spend a lot of money on your big day, but these guys partied so hard. There were hundreds of thousands of dollars in goodies at this thing. Apparently, the ceremony was not all smooth sailing though, as a few hours prior to the start, Britney's ex-husband Jason Alexander made his way onto the property where he was not invited. A security team took him down and held him until the cops arrived. Now, whether it was the universe or Jason's jealousy, the rocky start to their ceremony was certainly a warning that this was not going to work out. Number 7, Sam's typecasting. Britney is of course a pop singing sensation, which means that she's filmed a few music videos in her time. One of the first red flags came very early on in their relationship. They met on set of her music video for the song Slumber Party as her love interest on the song Slumber Party, where he played her love interest and arm candy. Sam had previously been featured in a music video for Fifth Harmony where he was also a hunky silent man, but this time he was a construction worker. Spending so much time with Sam as her man in the video must have convinced her that he was her one and only. Following the rap, these two continued to see each other constantly, with many paparazzo spotting them out at dinner or shopping. But it was revealed in the TMZ documentary previously mentioned that Britney continued to treat him as some pretty face that she was meant to direct. He recalls several fights over the way that he was being spoken to or the way that things were being done. Over the following months, anytime they were photographed together, they just looked awkward. Like they're posing for a picture that they just really don't want to take. Number 6, the New York Times defense. Asghari. Asghari spoke out to defend Britney after a New York Times documentary took a closer look at her life and career amid her legal battles against her father, Jamie Spears, removed as her conservator. He told people it was important to understand that Sam had zero respect for someone trying to control their relationship and constantly throwing obstacles in their way. He wrote to his Instagram story in February of 2021 that, in his opinion, Jamie is a total Dick Van Dyke. Not really, he just said. He also said, "I won't get too deep into details because he respected his own privacy and he did not come to this country to be held back from expressing his opinions." The comments came a day after he gave a statement to People magazine amid social media speculation about Britney. He held a very solid defense and maintained that any and all rumors about himself or Britney were just not true. The rumors, of course, were that the couple had been suffering some kind of an issue, but it was behind the scenes. Of course, it turned out every single one of the rumors were true, with the possible infidelity scandal being the only one that's yet to be proven. So, the big question is, why did Sam deny the allegations so hard if he knew that there was something to them? Why spend more time with Britney when he seemed to have some idea that it wasn't working out? This was all before they were even engaged. So why would Sam double down? These are all questions that I wish I could answer, but until Sam or Britney respond to my emails, I got nothing. Number 5. Sam's painful smile. Since the split was announced, more and more articles have come out of the woodwork containing various pictures from over the years. Now, this entry is for entertainment purposes. I didn't find anything to back up this theory, but can we just agree that this man looks uncomfortable like half of the time he's with Britney? In a ton of pictures, you can see he has this nice smile, but there are some where he just looks disheveled, like Britney just stepped on his toes moments before capturing the moment. My theory is that Sam has been trying to send us subtle messages, literally photographing himself crying for help. Now, I know what you're thinking, but hear me out. This guy is a professional model. It is his job to smile and look good on camera, but for some reason when Britney is around, his instincts go away and instead he goes to, please go away. There are several photos of them in the most beautiful places in the world where one should not be able to wipe the smile off of their face. But Sam looks like he just smelled something terrible and it might be Britney. I don't know if there is much to that one, but hey, you never know. And yes, I'm aware I just spent a couple minutes roasting a model. No need to remind me I'm not one in the comments. Number 4, the workout takes. Britney's husband Sam is of course involved in the fitness world. Just look at this guy. His body is fueled by protein powder and Joe Rogan's podcast. But Sam actually used to be a bit of a heavy-set man, going through a massive weight loss transformation before ever meeting Britney. His story seemed to inspire her, as throughout the majority of 2019 and 2020, Britney and Sam were chronicling their fitness journey as a couple online, sharing workout clips and publicly tracking their goals. While doing a small interview for the Associated Press, the couple told the outlet that they took over 40 takes of their intense workout, with Britney claiming to have been in an enormous amount of pain. However, the fact that they cared about getting the right take so much is a massive red flag. Instead of just working out together and bonding, they decided to get as much clout as they could. The more uploads for these two, the better. Sam was barely bothered by the workout. In fact, the entire time you can see him silently judging Britney. If they were truly in love, Sam would have seen her pain and made her comfortable, but instead, she was made to suffer. Number 3, they couldn't even share a bike together. Taking one of the top spots on our list is the most concerning and disturbing red flag of all. These guys had a chance to share a tandem bike together, and they didn't. What? In June 2019, Britney posted a picture of herself and Sam on bikes riding through a park with the caption, "I'm so blessed to have this in my neighborhood." To which Sam cheekily commented, "Do you mean the lake or that handsome gentleman?" There are 2 red flags here. The first, of course, being that the pair are simply riding bikes together and not on a 2-person bike like they do in the movies. The second is Britney's wording. In the post, she never actually says anything nice about her hubby. She responds to his comment, but it wasn't filled with love, it was filled with sarcasm. As I will mention later in this list, when it comes time to post things about lovey-dovey stuff, Britney has a tendency to forget about Sam. I have no idea if some of these things are true on this list. This is for entertainment purposes, but man, I wish I had a direct line to Britney Spears. That would be a very interesting phone call. Number 2, Sam sleeps on the couch. When it comes to a lover's quarrel, Sam and Britney are expert fire starters, able to rile each other up in an instant. One of the major reveals since the announcement of their split was the confirmation that there was a significant fight at some point in recent history. A story revealed in the TMZ documentary that Sam was spending most nights on the couch, wishing he could figure out what he did wrong. they had been having issues over the public image being presented by news outlets because they were somehow getting crucial information that caused severe stress for the couple. Whenever they would try to deal with their problems though, it ended in a massive blowout. Not long after the TMZ documentary was released, Sam was seen spiraling in public. Photos have since been wiped from the internet, but the idea of Sam sitting somewhere sad is not a fun sight. Britney was probably in the exact same state, which may explain some of her more questionable behavior this past year. Don't believe me? Just check out her TikTok. And at number 1, he loves her, but she doesn't love him. One major sign that this relationship was not working out were the several posts made about each other and the huge differences between them. Whenever Sam posts something about Britney, it's like he's trying to write her a poem every single time. It's so eloquent and well thought out. Whereas when Britney posts the photo, it's just like, luckiest girl around, hashtag part date. This poor dude is laying awake at night trying to come up with a sweet way to wish his girl a happy birthday online, but Britney's the type to just send a cake emoji and a little winky face. Through the majority of their relationship, there are dozens of examples of Sam trying to be a sweet man and express himself when Britney is just giving him very little back. Sure, if it's a special occasion or something, she'll make a nice big post or snap a pic, but it's nothing major. Throughout their entire relationship, it's very clear who is putting in the most effort, which is why the news of her possibly cheating on him is devastating to fans. So far, there is no proof that this has actually taken place, but something tells me that more info will be revealed over the next few weeks.
At number 10, Joel McHale. Back in 2007, Britney made a comeback to the music scene with her song Gimme More, and she performed it live at the MTV Awards. Even though the performance went pretty smoothly, a lot of people had some harsh and downright cruel words for the pop star, her performance, and even her body. During the interview with Keith Olbermann, actor Joel McHale made some comments about Britney's time on stage, and the two of them really dug into the pop star. At the beginning of the interview, Joel gave his review of Britney's performance, where he laid on a lot of sarcasm.
Her eyes were open, her lips were moving, she remained conscious the entire time. It was the greatest impression of an office worker embarrassing themselves at a holiday party I have ever seen. 5 stars, Britney. Bravo.
Joel also made a comment about the singer's body, where he said that in the original take on the performance, it, quote, involved a lot of mirrors. And when Britney was rehearsing the song, she kept stopping and saying, "Who hired the fat girl?" end quote. He also went on to comment on the report that Britney had been seen crying backstage after the performance and was seen texting someone. When asked about who he thought the singer was texting, he said, quote, "I think we can rule out dietitian, personal trainer, psychologist, clothing stylist, makeup artist, nanny, actual musician, songwriter," end quote. These were all such horrible comments to make, and even though a lot of people were making mean comments about the singer during this time of her life, that doesn't excuse the words that were said, and it certainly warrants issuing an apology. At number 9, Ivo Nihi. After an interview from 1999 resurfaced, Dutch TV presenter Ivo Nihi came under fire for making inappropriate comments towards a then 17-year-old Britney Spears. Britney had sat down with him for a live interview, and it started off pretty fine, as she answered questions about her rise to fame and answered some fan questions as well. But things took a very inappropriate turn, and Britney's fans are calling for an apology. During the interview, Ivo came out of left field and commented on the pop star's body. He proceeded to ask the singer about her thoughts on breast implants and the fact that people had been speculating that she had gotten plastic surgery. It was an insanely inappropriate question to ask, and he knew it wouldn't go over well because he even commented on the fact that Britney was known to get mad at people when they would ask her about her body. The fact that he still went ahead with making those comments shows how little respect was really there, and shows that Britney is definitely owed an apology. Now, before I carry on with the list, I would like to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, and also check out my gaming channel Vibe Girl if that's something that you would be interested in. At number 8, Perez Hilton. Perez Hilton is best known for his celebrity gossip. He was basically the YouTube tea channel of the 2000s. One of the celebrities that he commented on a lot was Britney Spears, because like many other Hollywood tabloids and bloggers, he saw it as a hot topic and a cash grab. He's made horrible comments like posting a t-shirt after the passing of actor Heath Ledger that said, quote, "Why couldn't it be Britney?" Because of the things that he said and done to damage Britney's image and hurt her personally, fans have called on him to apologize, which he actually recently did. Perez made a statement saying, quote, "I can't say I was just young and dumb. I think we know a lot more." And initially, many folks, myself included, were shocked and alarmed and especially concerned for her young children. "I know I did not express myself as well as I could have. I didn't lead with empathy and compassion, which thankfully seems like most people are now understanding the severity of Britney's situation. I absolutely apologize and carry deep shame and regret. Now, just because he made this apology doesn't mean that all is forgiven, because a lot of Britney's fans don't accept his words because of the fact that he has a history of bullying women and trivializing mental health. Do you think that he needs to apologize again, or are there other reparations that he can make? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. At number 7, Shawn Mendes. Turns out that fans have called out Shawn Mendes for comments he made about Britney back in 2015. After a clip from one of Shawn's radio interviews was resurfaced, many of Britney's fans called on Shawn to apologize to the pop star for making fun of, quote, one of Britney's most fragile moments of her life. But what did Shawn do exactly? Well, during the radio interview, Shawn was playing a game where he had to act out a celebrity, and when he was prompted to act out Britney Spears, he reenacted when she shaved her head.
Oh, that's a very good one.
It's me, baby, one more time.
As of filming this, Shawn hasn't commented on this clip, but do you guys think that he should also take accountability for his actions? At number 6, Kathy Griffin. Comedian Kathy Griffin is well known for being a little offensive. We saw it with the whole D-Trump head fiasco, and the same goes for the comments that she's made about Britney Spears. Kathy's comments have been brought to light by fans of the pop star as they demand accountability from those who've hurt Britney, and in some resurfaced clips from interviews and comedy sets, people have gotten a taste for the kinds of things that the comedian has said about the pop star, and it's left many people upset. In one instance, while talking to the late Larry King, Kathy tried to make a jab at Britney's mental health. Kathy saying that Britney wasn't, quote, all there was a very damaging thing to say, but in another resurfaced clip from one of Kathy's comedy shows, she also joked about the fact that she was jealous of Britney's breakdown because she got to be, quote, wheeled away by hunky emergency responders, end quote. Sometimes comedy can go too far when it's at the expense of someone else, so I think that an apology is owed. At number 5, Katy Perry. As people have been confronting celebrities for their insensitive remarks about Britney Spears in the past, fans have unearthed some comments made by singer Katy Perry from back in 2017 that many people believe warrant an apology. Katy's comments played on when Britney shaved her head. When walking the red carpet at the Grammy Awards that year, Ryan Seacrest asked Katy about the hiatus that she took from music, where she replied saying, quote, it's called taking care of my mental health. I haven't shaved my head yet. End quote. Later on that night, Katy made some similar comments after she was asked about her new blonde hair, where she said, quote, the only thing I have left to do is shave my head, which I'm really saving for a public breakdown, end quote. Katy did end up addressing these comments in 2020, but with the new attention that she's receiving following the Free Britney movement, do you guys think that she should address them again and make another apology? At number 4, John O'Hurley. The Framing Britney Spears documentary featured a lot of instances where Britney's name, career, and mental health were dragged through the mud or made fun of. And one instance that was prominently featured in the documentary was from a 2008 episode of Family Feud hosted by John O'Hurley. In this episode, John asked the contestants to, quote, name something Britney Spears has lost in the past year. Among some of the accepted answers for this question were, quote, her husband, her hair, her mind, respect/dignity, weight, her fans, and her children, end quote. The fact that something like this was able to slide through onto television has a lot of Britney fans upset, and they've been demanding accountability for letting this happen. These comments making fun of Britney's quote-unquote downfall certainly did not age well, and really shows how much the world had ganged up on the pop star, and also makes you think about how Britney must have felt experiencing the whole world turn and laugh at her like this. At number 3, Kendall Ehrlich. People seem to always have an opinion when it comes to the way people, especially women, portray themselves. There are always people who believe that women should look and act a certain way, as some see certain celebrities as being too sexy. This is the kind of criticism Britney Spears faced during her career, and this is also what caused the former First Lady of Maryland to make an extremely harsh comment about the singer. Kendall believed that Britney was being too sexual in the media and was a bad role model to young girls at the time, and during a conference in 2003, the former First Lady essentially said that given the opportunity, she would physically hurt Britney. If you want to know exactly what she said, you'll have to look up her exact words because I am not going to repeat them. Kendall did issue an apology shortly after she made those comments, but after her comments were exposed again during the Britney Spears documentary, some of Britney's fans have asked the former First Lady to revisit and take accountability for her words. At number 2, Matt Lauer. A 2006 interview with Matt Lauer recently resurfaced, showing that this interview severely damaged Britney's personal life, and although there's been a call for accountability, Matt has said that he was just doing his job and would, quote, do it again. The interview in question caused Britney to break down in tears after Matt read off a bunch of negative tabloid headlines to the singer, who was pregnant at the time. Some of the headlines called her a bad mom, criticized her music, and criticized her marriage as well. At the end of all that, Matt asked Britney what she did to deserve all of these negative headlines, and this caused her to start crying on camera. A lot of people believe that Matt should issue an apology for what he put her through during that interview and for how much it affected her. And finally, at number 1, Diane Sawyer. A lot of people consider TV journalist Diane Sawyer as one of the people who hurt Britney the most after her 2003 interview with the pop star resurfaced following the Framing Britney documentary. A lot of people see Diane as someone who really got the ball rolling on the media's portrayal of Britney, especially after her high-profile breakup with Justin Timberlake. During the interview, Diane asked about said breakup, where she asked the singer, quote, he has gone on television and pretty much said that you broke his heart. Did you do something that caused him so much pain, so much suffering? What did you do? End quote. Many people saw this comment as really damaging because Diane implied that she and everyone else were taking Justin's side and portrayed Britney as the villain. This hurt Britney's career because she was seen as a horrible person for breaking Justin's heart, even though the situation was much more complicated than that. On top of that, Diane also went on to defend the comment made by Kendall Ehrlich, whom I mentioned previously. Diane in a way agreed with the comment that Kendall had made, saying that it was because of the example that she believed Britney was setting for her younger fans. Since all of this resurfaced, many people have called on the journalist to apologize, but as of right now, nothing has been said. Now, I want to hear your thoughts on the situation going on with Britney Spears and hashtag Free Britney. I think everything she's had to endure for all of these years is so heartbreaking, and the fact that she's suffered in silence for so long is also so incredibly sad.